Hi, hello, it's Lillian. My name's Lillian. I am the Lillian behind Knits by Lillian. This is a podcast where I talk about knitting, knitwear designs, whips that I'm currently working on. Today, we have a podcast full of whips. So if you've been here before, I don't think any of these are projects that we've discussed. If you've never been here before, welcome. The drill is we grab a bev, we sit down, we talk about knitting. So without further ado, let's talk about knitting. Okay, jumping straight into whips. I have cast on the Moby sweater. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen my post about this. But just for reference, I just want to show you all a finished Moby sweater first, just so you can see what we're looking at. Now, take this one with a grain of salt because this is not the intended yarn at all. This is patterned by Petiteknit. So here's my first Moby sweater sample. It is wrinkly. She's well worn. Got a really nice cable down the sleeve, cross hatch cable panel in the front. So this is the Barocco. It's called, I think it's like vintage recycled. I'll put it in the description box. But this is a heavier weight than what the pattern called for, but it's cotton. And I really wanted it to be, since it's a white pullover, I wanted it to be a little bit more light so I could wear it spring, summer. I wear that all the time. I didn't even tell you what I'm wearing. This is the Ava cardigan, also by Petiteknit. So these two are probably my most worn knits. And so I really like that cable pattern. I love that cross hatch panel on the front, but I really like a dark cardigan. And this is kind of the only dark cardigan I have. So I thought, why not combine the two? So I've cast on the Moby sweater, but I'm making it into a cardigan. So I've gotten to a point where I don't think it's going to be an utter failure, which is why I'm showing you all now. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I've started, that's the body. I've started a sleeve because I just wanted to see how it was going to pull the shoulder. I've done everything the pattern indicates except for joining, obviously, the front panels. So I don't want to say what my exact numbers are because it's still a paid pattern, even though I'm really deviating from it. But basically, I worked down to where you would join or where you would start your collar shaping. So I think in the pattern you knit these two panels first and then you work down maybe this far and then start kind of shaping that round neck and then go back and pick up collar stitches later. But I just kept going. I'm aiming for a V-neck. I want it to be sort of a low V, kind of like this one where the increase and decrease shapes down farther than where the top button is. So I'm starting a little cross hatch panel there. But I'm excited about this. This is the Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock worsted yarn. This is left over from a project I did back in December, maybe. But I had it at stash already, and so I kind of figured, why not? Nothing to lose here. But I really like how this is turning out. So I actually sized down a needle size from the pattern. Pattern calls for 4 millimeter, 4.0 millimeter, and then I'm doing 3.75. But I'm a pretty loose knitter, so that's pretty normal for me. But I really like how this is going. I'll keep y'all updated on this. I feel like I had a lot more to say and now I kind of don't. It's not rocket science. I mean, if you've done a V-neck cardigan before, I feel like you could probably make any pullover pattern into a V-neck cardigan, or obviously a round neck. But yeah, I'm really liking how this is turning out. I think the color is going to be really beautiful. Let's see what it looks like against my skin tone. I think this is good for me. I don't really know. I've asked what my season is before, and a couple people gave me really detailed answers, so you got your real ones. But I really like how this is turning out. I think since I've knit the pattern before as a pullover, that helps too, with kind of just already knowing the direction that it's going to take. But that's what we have here. Playing a little bit of yarn chicken, so we'll see. I think I'm going to do a double knit button band around the front. I thought about doing one like this where it kind of, you pick up stitches and work out from the edge, but I think, now I'm looking at it in my viewfinder trying to figure out what I like better, but I think a double knit button band will look cleaner since there's already a lot of pattern on the front since we've got that cable panel. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll see what I do with it. Okay, so my next project in today's rotation of many whips is a pattern that I actually am designing, or I'm in the process of trying to design. So I'll show you the swatch first so you can get kind of an idea of what I want this stitch pattern to look like. But I've also posted this on my Instagram a couple times. This yarn is Awa by Amano. Awa spelled A-W-A, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It is, please hold while I search through my notes, 55% baby alpaca, 26% merino, 19% Pima cotton. So honestly, the perfect blend for summer. It's really soft, and so I think it's going to drape really well, but it's holding the stitch pattern better than I thought it would. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Here I am casting on a light green cardigan right after saying, oh, I need some more darker colored cardigans, but so is the spring season. Okay, so I'm doing this bottom up, so it's going to be hard to hold up and show you here, but oh man, all right. So here's where we're at. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I've started, these are going to be the front panels. It's obviously not blocked. Here's the back. So I started with some 2x2 ribbing, working up the back panel. Actually, here, let's do this. Back panel's done, so let's just hold that up. Then we're doing some shaping along through kind of the underarm here. Actually, wait, let's look at the one that I have worked on. So we're going to fold together like so, stitch together the shoulder at the top, pick up stitches for a sleeve. I wanted kind of a bigger armhole because I think, especially in summer, I don't want something that's really riding up in my armpit. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, I think, with knitwear in general, is when it's just too tight around the sleeve. Like, this is perfect. There's lots of positive ease through there. So I really like how this is turning out. It is a stitch pattern I found in like one of the Stitch Bible books called, I think it's called Figs something. I'm not sure, but I really like this, and I kind of want to do a pullover version too. It's showing up really well on camera, so I love that. But I have a vision of going to the farmer's market with my little tote bag full of vegetables that I'm gonna buy and then never cook at home. And I'm wearing this cardigan and it's warm and we're not getting weird snow flurries like we did today. But I cast this on a couple weeks ago and I've ripped out and redone probably every part of it 3 times. Yeah, so is the way of designing things, but I think we're at a good point here. You can't tell super well, but I'm doing a V-neck. That's kind of the increase or the decrease portion. But I think a V-neck is going to look really nice with the way that this stitch pattern lays. Because my initial idea was to have it decrease kind of along the same slope as the eyelets, but I think that's going to be way too steep. Like, just compared to this cardigan, that would be like way too sharp of an angle. So I like where we're at now. I've got quite a bit of this yarn left. But this is my first time working with this yarn. I love an alpaca cotton blend. I think people are sleeping on that, but I really like this. The color is really nice too. Everybody I know in real life has been making fun of me for holding things up to the camera, excuse me, so it focuses. I feel like one of those makeup influencers from like 2016, back when we all had the block eyebrows, going, this is my product, and then waiting for the camera to focus. But yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I think it's turning out really well. I like this color a lot. I already know that I like this color because my October turtleneck from a couple years ago is just about the same shade, and we love her. So looking good on this front. Hopefully I'll be able to get a pattern worked out maybe in the next couple weeks. As soon as I can get sleeves figured out, send it off to my tech editor. Hopefully I'll have a tester call. Let's be real and say within the next couple months. Okay, my Arconia test is going right now. And side note, that is a fun group chat. I love the color choices, and I have never done a test knit that I've been running for a colorwork piece before. And so just watching people pick yarn and choose yarn color combinations has made me want to cast on at least 70 more samples, because then I look at their combinations and I go, oh, I love that, or I love half of yours and half of yours. So maybe after I finish working up the vest version that I've also frogged a million times, that will be an easier garment to make more of in different color combinations, just because it's a little bit smaller without the sleeves. But updates on that. Test is going well. Test is going great. People are going so much faster than I thought they would, so it's really encouraging to see. Okay, what to discuss next? Okay, so Sorry Norland and Young Folk Knits, Casey of Young Folk Knits, are doing a knit along for Sorry's pattern, the Poola Pollover. It's spelled like Pohjola in English, so I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I'll link it in the description. You already know. Everything's going to be in the description. I never know what yarns I'm talking about or the names of patterns. That's why we have a description box. So I cast this on. Oh yeah, colorwork looks so good on camera. Ugh. I cast this on a couple weeks ago. I was kind of late to the test knit, or the knit along. But I've actually never participated in a formal knit along before, so this has been fun. I love seeing, again, everyone's color choices. So this yarn is Juniper Moon Farms. This is pretty similar shade to the last yarn we were using. Yeah, almost identical. But this is 100% wool. Here's the stack. So the pattern is a main color, which is this orange, even though you can't really tell from the yoke. And then contrast color 1 and contrast color 2. So contrast color 2 kind of barely makes an appearance. So burnt orange is one of my faves, and obviously a beige is pretty staple in my wardrobe too, so those weren't really a stretch. But this mint green I was a little bit nervous about, but I think it's looking really good. It helps too that I think the mint green and the beige are kind of similar. You can see it a little bit more through here. I haven't quite gotten to the part where it features much of that main color or that contrast color 2 yet. So I think the pattern's going to continue on, but this has been really fun. So it's color work worked in the round. I think the pattern doesn't say to sew down your double knit neckband until the end, but I usually like to do mine as soon as I can, because I think it gives me a better feel of how the structure is of the garment, especially if I want to change the depth or something of how big my circular yoke portion is going to be. Anyway, so I did that. Looking great. But I think this color and the burnt orange are going to have to make an appearance again in something else. Honestly, this would be such a good Arconia pullover combination. I feel like this yarn would work too. You might be witnessing an epiphany. We'll have to come back to that. But I really like this pattern. It looks so beautiful in the original sample Sorry did. Has sort of a deep mustard yellow for the main color. And then I think her original sample is like a similar beige, and then I want to say lavender, like a very light purple, but I almost wanted to do the exact same colors that she did, so I might have to do another one of these, because honestly, I love knitting color work. This is so fun, especially there's a very few spots where you have to knit 3 colors at once, just kind of in here. But I don't know if you can see, but part of it's purled, so that kind of helps with the way that you're holding 3 strands of yarn. But most of it, like the rest of this section, is just 2 colors, which takes a lot of the heat off. So there's an update on that. I don't think we had talked about this last time, but I really like this. Hopefully I can have this done before it gets too warm here in Michigan, because this could also be a good farmer's market outfit. I feel like most people my age are like planning their outfits to the club, and I'm like, what can I wear to buy vegetables? Moving and grooving right along. The next thing that I've cast on since we last met is the Luna Tee. Oh man, she's so wrinkly. Ignore that. But this is a broken rib, negative ease turtleneck. Oh, it's so wrinkly. OMG, I'm so sorry. It's gonna have, I think, sort of like, I don't know what you would call this, mid bicep length sleeves, longer than a cap sleeve, much shorter than like a 3/4 length. This is a pattern by Carissa Lamb. I cast off my, shoot, it's called the Clint Classic. Big red pullover. I talked about it in my last episode, and it's got the same, it's a very similarly structured pattern, but it's a positive ease pullover. That I think I knitted it a size too big because I wanted it to be bigger. Anyway, it's got a very similar raglan shaping detail that I really liked. I knit it with 2 strands, one of mohair held together. And so I really liked that look and that fit. So then I saw this pattern, which I've had in my, what's the like knitting version of a TBR? Girlies who read will know. I need a knitting Goodreads. I guess that's Ravelry, but I hardly ever use that. Anyway, I saw her sample and it just looked really classic and very stylable. I feel like I have a lot of knitwear that I love knitting and that doesn't go with anything that I wear. So I've been thinking about making sort of a capsule wardrobe situation. So all it's led to so far is me buying jeans that actually fit me, which is a big step because usually I buy really cheap jeans and then nothing fits and then I have a crisis. Hopefully my mini mic didn't pick that up, but if it did, I'm so sorry. We'll edit that out. But anyway, yeah, so I've been looking for a couple more pieces of knitwear that are more classic, things that are a little bit more everyday wearable. I'm always suspicious of short sleeves though, so I kind of want to see if I can get a longer sleeve out of it. The problem being, this is the only yarn I have left. Did I say what yarn this is? This is Riley by Haiku. 50% alpaca, 25% silk, 25% linen. It's a really, really nice blend. I do fear that the stitches will look uneven. Let me see if I can show you what I mean. Hopefully blocking will fix it, but you see what I mean? Like the ribbing doesn't look clean, but if I give it kind of a little, if I put a little tension on it, it looks okay. So I'm hoping it'll block out okay. I'm hoping it'll block out okay, I say as I look at it thinking it's not going to block out okay. I've tried to cast on so many things with this yarn. It's really, really drapey. It feels really soft. I think I could wear it next to skin, but just nothing has stuck. Clearly, since this is the yarn that I'm working from, this is, I don't even know. It's like a crocheted shell stitch situation that I cast on like once a year. I get this urge to do a crochet project because my partner crochets and I see her doing it and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Just one needle. But yeah, it never works out well. And I also, since I design knitting patterns, I think I can just do the same with crochet, which is not true because I do not understand how to increase and decrease in shape in crochet. So I end up with these big blocky garments that I end up unraveling to knit with. This is a really pretty stitch though, but it's a yarn guzzler and I only had 3 skeins of this guy, so it just wasn't enough. I think my original vision was like a cardigan here, and then I was gonna like knit ribbing. Sometimes it's fun to be delusional. Anyway, excited about this guy. Hopefully this will be a good transitional season piece, but we love her. Stay tuned to see if the wrinkles block out. I'll keep you posted. Okay, so this last whip is just too funny. I'll show you first, and then we'll explain the lore behind this, okay? Here's what we have. Surprise, surprise, it's wrinkly. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what do you mean? That's just a raglan. It is. Here's the thing. We moved to Michigan from Fresno probably, actually just over a year ago, okay? This yarn is Concept by Kata. I have a skein of it floating around here. It's apparently my new favorite color of this. Oh, no way. We have to hold them up. Let's see. Yeah, Okay, so it's really similar to these other greens. However, I got this yarn years ago and I had it in stash. I had this color and then I had this like beige guy. And originally my plan was to hold them double and do some sort of striped situation, but then I ended up using this green yarn. I can't remember. I held it with something for a test knit. It's 70% cotton, 30% mohair. So it's got a nice halo you can kind of see, but it's not as much definitely as a regular mohair. But it's really light and it's very soft. So I really like this yarn. I got a bunch of it on sale at a local yarn shop. Okay, so now fast forward. I have looked for this yarn several times since moving to Michigan. I've looked through the remaining 2 boxes that I haven't unpacked. The people who have moved will get that. But I've looked everywhere for this yarn and I couldn't find it. So today I open up this random ottoman that's in my living room because I was looking for like weights, dumbbell weights, because I just didn't have it in me to go to the gym. But I was like, you got to do something. And I move things around. I swear up and down and sideways that I've looked in that ottoman for this yarn before. And I find, lo and behold, this halfway done raglan, which just put me over the edge. Maybe I should fold this collar in. Ooh, that could be good. Oh, it might be too wide. I kind of like the turtleneck. Anyway, I've started a champagne cardigan with this by Petiteknit. I started, I don't even know, a few things. But anyway, I've been looking for this yarn forever and ever, and now I found it. And I don't know if I should leave it in this raglan. I think this is all I have of it. I'll weigh it and see what we have. But what was I thinking? Who can say Lillian from 2022 thought she was a genius for putting it in there so the movers wouldn't lose it or damage it. Anyway, now we have this guy. I am 99% sure that this is a pattern that I drafted. Do I have any of the measurements written down? No. But okay, maybe I should give 2022 Lillian some credit because I really like this raglan detail. I think what I did was purl 1, knit 2, purl 1 inside my raglan increases. So I definitely could write up a pattern for this. Let me know if you're interested in that. I feel like there's a lot of patterns that look like this out on the market. Here's the other thing that's funny. The body is on 3.5 millimeter needles and the sleeve is on 3.75 millimeter needles because I just couldn't wait to cast on a sleeve. So there we have it. I'm actually kind of excited. I've been looking for a stockinette project, so this will be good. I kind of like this. The more I hold it up, the more I'm like, this is a classic. Should this be part of my capsule wardrobe? Should this be the first pattern I designed for my capsule wardrobe? Maybe this could be like a little fall, early fall, late August, early September guy. Transitional season piece, if you will. But we love her. My long lost yarn is returned. Anyways, moving on from that, I think that's everything that I have to discuss today. Scheming. I think so. I don't really have any updates on the Arconia vest. She's sitting right there, still in just disarray. I've been trying and giving up, and so we'll get back to that whenever I feel like I have the math in me to figure out the 9,000 things that have gone wrong. But other than that, Arconia pattern will be out in a couple of months. I think I gave my testers 3 months. 12 weeks is 3 months. So that's just getting started. It'll be a while, but super excited for that. But I think that's pretty much the only update I have. So thank you if you've made it this far. I appreciate you guys. Every time I get to the end of a video, I'm like, I'm gonna do a weird outro. And then I'm gonna have to edit out my weird outro later. So we'll just leave it with Olipop, if you see this, sponsor me, because statistically I shouldn't like this. I don't really like soda, nor do I like fruit flavored things, but this is so good. So good. Sometimes I get home from having a bad day and I look in the fridge in my sad post-work state and I open it and I go, an Olipop. So send this to Olipop. Send this to your friends that knit. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.